Good afternoon, everyone. I would like to start thanking the people who made this possible, why I'm here. So thank you very much to the people of Germany first, GIZ, the BMZ, GIG, Republica, all the community, and obviously the Impact Hub Association. So to start, I would like to start by showing you the title of, as you know, of this talk is Reframing the Chaos. So sometimes to reframe things, you need to look at things totally different. So what this implies sometimes, look it totally different. So I come from Venezuela, the country I was born and raised there. And even though I have the opportunity and the privilege to travel, to work, and to live in so many other countries, I love my country and I always felt that I needed to do something different there. So 8 years ago, I went back to Venezuela to start doing many other things that I will tell you about. Venezuela has a population of 30 million people. We have more than 45% of internet access, and more than 109% of mobile penetration. So almost more than one mobile per person. We have the highest waterfall in the world that is called the Angel Falls, and I will invite you to go one day there. It's beautiful. We have the most beautiful beaches in the Caribbean Sea. A lot of beautiful women. We have won so many contests like Miss World, Miss International, Miss Universe. And we have also El Sistema, which is a group of orchestras in Venezuela that they have more than 400,000 children, especially for low-income families, already into the systems, trying to learn since very, very little how to play an instrument and how to be part of this other way of living. We also have the world's largest proven reserve of oil, and obviously this counts for more than 96% of the income of the country. However, large part of these revenues and this oil exportation goes as a subsidy for many countries around in the region. More than 7 billion are annual are given away to countries like Cuba. More than $4 billion are given away to countries as Dominican Republic, Nicaragua, and other countries in the region. So with all this oil, we should have prosperity, as you could think. But instead, unfortunately, we have more than 30% of poverty in Venezuela. And this is official rates, official numbers, because all the numbers that the World Bank uses are produced by the government, as you know. We should have value of money, the possibility to buy things, to be able to enjoy life. However, the inflation rate is 56% a year, more than 300% annual inflation implied. We should have free currency, as you do. You go to the bank or you go to the ATM and you can withdraw money in any currency that you like. Instead, in Venezuela, we have exchange control. We cannot access any currency, only bolívares, which is worth nothing. We should be, as a country, fighting corruption, but instead, we are one of the most corrupted countries in the world. We are numbered 160 out of 177 countries, according to Transparency International, in terms of corruption perception. We should have, as any country, access to basic goods, food, any staple that you need. But sometimes you cannot even find rice or coffee or toilet paper. It's 26% of scarcity. We should have a safe city, but instead we have kidnapping every day in any corner. is not very far away from us. Each of us has a lot of stories to tell of friends, acquaintances that have been kidnapped, not only for days, but for years, and sometimes express kidnapping also for hours. We should have a safe neighborhood, but we cannot even walk into the streets because there's a lot of crime. I myself have been robbed around 5 times with guns in my head, in my stomach, and now I need to drive into a bulletproof glass car in order to be able to feel a little bit safe. We should live just simply our lives, but instead, almost 25,000 people have died out of crime last year, and the numbers still growing and growing, unfortunately. We should have access to housing. Instead, we have slums. Approximately 58% of the population live in informal urban areas. We should have property rights, rule of law, but instead, we have been suffering from confiscations and expropriations, and more than 4,000 enterprises and private companies have been shut down by the government or just confiscated. We should have access to health, but unfortunately we have lack of supplies, lack of medicines. The people is being attended in the floor, in the public hospitals. We should have access to electricity, but instead we have constant blackouts, especially in the countryside. So if we are living in a democracy, you should aspire to have fair elections. But instead, there's always the doubt if there was fraud, because the government never wants to do audits of any of the election processes, because they control themselves the elections. We should have separation of powers. The Congress or the Parliament is one thing, the court is another thing, the executive and all the ministries should be another thing. But instead, only one power controls and commands everything. And obviously always look out but the big brother. We should have self-government, sovereignty, but instead we have suffering from not imperialism, or our imperialism is from the Cubans, the Cuban intervention that has a lot of influential, especially in intelligence services, with the government. We should have freedom of speech, but instead we have censorship. This is a campaign that it was done by the Sin Mordaza NGO, Without Gag, that is using the image of one of the Miss Universe to express what we are living. We should have free press and only have actually access now to social media. We don't have TV channels anymore. Everything is controlled by the government, so there's no news about what is happening. How can we have used the social media, how society has reacted to all this situation? First of all, we are using applications like Zello to communicate. Zello is a walkie-talkie app that you can use to communicate, so students use it a lot. We use Twitter as a main way of communication to spread news. There's many accounts that have been created only to spread what is happening. Also, the students have been using Twitter in order to create leadership around the movement and spread the word of what they are doing. We have also applications, platforms around students' movement in order to get engaged with them or communicate with them. We have also some organizations from the civil society that are asking for proposals of activities that you wanted to do in terms of organizing protests. We also have information every day from a network that is spread through WhatsApp. So every day you receive a message with all the activities that the next day are going to take place. This is one app that just came out few months ago is about how to create protests that really impact other people in a positive way. So you can create it as a sole person, or also as a small group, or as a massive group. We have platforms in a fan page in Facebook that is to spread out the news, especially in the community, international community, through the Venezuelans that live abroad. It's called SOS Venezuela. And we have organizations, NGOs, working on preventing abuses on the human rights and spreading the news, and especially fighting for human rights, as Sin Mordaza and Foro Penal, which is taking care of all the students that have been put in jail lately. So obviously, all the Venezuelans are asking what type of government we have. Is it a democracy, or is it a dictatorship? And the people is protesting because of that. So is it a dictatorship dressed up as a democracy? Why finally the Venezuelans are protesting? Due to all the things that I've just mentioned, due to insecurity, due to scarcity, corruption, indoctrination, devaluation, inflation, lack of economic freedom, also censorship or human rights violations, same as all the blackouts that I mentioned in TV and all the media. Basically, we are protesting to have human rights, some human rights that are granted for all of you. So the protests have started along all these 15 years. This regime has been in place, but especially since February the 2nd, massive protests, peaceful protests have started, reuniting more than 1.2 million people on the streets. Has been a creative protest. All type of activities have been taking place, and it has been always a peaceful protest. Students, civil society, everybody has been protesting, only using signs, flags, sometimes flowers, many things. However, it has been a brutal repression by the government through the National Guard and the National Police. In many of the camps that have been organizing for the students, they have been collecting all the bullets and all the tear gas bombs and everything. The repression have been used to shut down these protests. The update about what is happening is, until now, until today, 41 people have been killed. Almost 3,000 people have been illegally arrested. Almost 400 still in jail. More than 100 tortures have been documented, and more than 500 still to be verified. This is my friend Rodrigo Diamanti. He was arrested today. He's in jail only because he's leading the NGO, one of the NGOs that I mentioned to you, Sin Mordaza, without gag, and only because he has been documenting all the tortures that have happened. These tortures have been with gasoline, with electricity, beating people, and also raped. Today, at 4 a.m. in the morning, a huge troop of the National Guard came and arrested a total of 243 students that were in camps in front of the UN and many other squares in the city, just because they were protesting. We are organizing a campaign that is Presos por Protestar, is prisoners for protesting, that is starting today. So if you want to participate, you can do it. So what are we doing in the middle of all this? We have the blessing of pertained of a huge global network that is called Impact Hub. Impact Hub is a network of collaborators that we are focused on creating a positive impact in the world. We have presence in more than 60 cities, all over all the continents. We are more than 7,000 members that we are working to make this change possible. We have more than 500 makers already, and 25,000 square meters on spaces that are dedicated to hold entrepreneurs and to host a community that wants to make a collective action. So our value proposition is based on this equation that all the entrepreneurial ideas, if they are supported by inspiring spaces together with a community that hold it and meaningful events along all these collaborative actions that we organize, we can all together achieve a sustainable impact. So we were opening our Impact Hub Caracas on February 12th. Unfortunately, we couldn't do it due to all these protests that have started, and we are now trying to launch it on May 15th. However, we started to do things because we didn't want to be shot. And this is our hub. Obviously, it implies a lot of risks, personal risk to be speaking here, but also personal, my enterprise is at risk because this is a business that 5 friends came together to do it with our savings, with our money, with raise equity investment also, and we are trying to do it and do it right. We are more than ever convinced that entrepreneurship doesn't have any color, any race, any political issue. We think that entrepreneurship is a way to unite and reconcile people and also to transform society, as well as provide economic development for a country. So that's why more than ever we are asking ourselves, how can we reframe what is happening in order to achieve the impact that we wanted to achieve in the middle of these circumstances and needs that our community of entrepreneurs and our society has. So it's not only hosting and building a community of entrepreneurs and social innovators, but it's also offering service to support that entrepreneurs with many activities, also with mentorship, for example, workshops, talks, conversations that matter in order for them to be able to understand better how can be more effective in all the social impact that we want to see in our society. So we are asking questions around ourselves. Should we be more citizen entrepreneurs instead of only individual entrepreneurs? How can we improve more security in our city? Or how to promote society dialogue? Or how can we encourage reconciliation in our society? Or how can we promote kindness and hope? My sister today asked me, how can we continue to be a light when the only thing I can see is darkness? How to spread peace through music? Or how can promote unity and integration of the society through sports? But we also are asking as a network, how can we create also a collective action? So many activities and actions have been taken place. For example, the Impact Hub Amsterdam just released a newsletter talking about what is happening in Venezuela and reaching more than 5,000 people, invite them to do something about it. We also organized here in Berlin a peace innovation session with peace innovators precisely to create activities and brainstorm about what things we could do in Venezuela in order to provide some ideas to other events that we can organize with our entrepreneurs. We also are participating in campaigns where we go. So I would like to invite you to ask yourself also as a community, as a Republica community in this case, what else can you do to achieve this impact that you also want to see in your society, in the world? Reframing has just begun. Please share your ideas and let's create together a collective action. Thank you very much.
So, thank you, Claudia. Do we have any questions? Because we have 5 minutes left. Yeah.
Hi. At first, thank you for this moving talk. I really enjoyed it. And my question is, actually, do you feel threatened by standing here and talking about all those things? What can be the consequences for you and for your business by doing all this?
Well, obviously, you never know what could happen to you, because we are living in a society that unfortunately doesn't ensure you any rights. But I always said that I'm not going to give up my rights or my values. So the only thing and the only power that I have is my voice.
Hello, Claudia. I have 2 questions. The first one is, we heard in the news that Maduro met some people from the opposition. They had some meetings. What happened afterwards? Something came out, or it was just kind of a propaganda for him? That's the first one. The second one, you're talking about these entrepreneurs in Venezuela. How do you deal with the fact that you don't can, you don't can, do business the way you want to do them? Do you have some kind of schooling in that way, how to deal with the economical situation in Venezuela? Thank you.
Well, regarding the first part, you mentioned you are interested in knowing what's happening with the dialogue too, right? The dialogue has been taking place, as you can probably know, with the witness of UNASUR, which is a group of countries of South America. The dialogue, unfortunately, from my point of view, hasn't come up with anything concrete, because the basic things are not there. Starting because the dialogues are never, for example, put into the media. You don't know what is happening there. The opposition has been asking the media to enter and somebody to say what is happening inside, and never it's allowed. So nobody knows exactly what are the conversations about. But the government hasn't changed any of the requests the opposition is asking. That is, on one side, the right of protesting is in our constitution as a right. So the students ask for the right to protest. And obviously, it's more than 400 people that is already in jail, arrested just because they were protesting. So the students are obviously asking every day to release the people that is in jail. And the government hasn't not even released one, not even the first one. So that's from the society point of view, but also all the economic problems that we have, that the companies and the private enterprises are asking for, to have freedom of economic conditions in order to operate. They need to have access to currencies. If they are importers or exporters, they need to have relationship with countries in raw material or goods that they need to buy, and they cannot do it. So many countries, many companies are leaving the country, obviously. Even airlines that are closing business with Venezuela because the government doesn't pay them, and they don't have the way to continue subsidizing flights that nobody pays at the end. It's crazy. So the dialogue hasn't been very fruitful in that sense. It's just, to me, a way to show that the government is dialoguing with society, but at the end is unfertile dialogue. The second part of your question was how can we encourage entrepreneurs to do something in the middle of this mess, economic mess? Well, there's always opportunities within all this crisis, and that's what we're trying to focus. Obviously, there are a lot of services that nobody is providing because who's going to invest in a country like this? So only the locals are doing it. So there has been many opportunities for local investors, for local entrepreneurs to develop services or products that are not existing in the market, and they are doing it and doing very well. So obviously we are waiting for better times, and I'm sure that it will come because these type of things are just unsustainable. But it requires a lot of courage and a lot of motivation, because usually the people get depressed and nobody wants to have hope that things are going to improve if you day by day are looking to all these injustices and abuses.
So Claudia, thank you very much.
Thank you.
It's your applause, please.
Thank you.